Dean Sharp, a host of Home. He is the house whisperer. He turns your house into a home. And every Monday, we get to see his smiling face. He is a peaceful, gentle giant. And today we're talking about open concept, which was a thing for a while. Not anymore?
Well, it still is. These are the kinds of people I pick fights with. So this is like,
designers.
I'm 6'3", 200 plus pounds. And I'm like, hey, designers, stop it with the open concept.
Hey, if you need, I have a bird shirt you can borrow. Get a little pomegranate margarita on your breath. And what is open concept? When you say the term open concept, it makes me think I walk into a home and I can see from one end of the house to the other end of the house.
That is open concept gone wild.
Okay.
And done really poorly.
Oh.
But yeah, open concept it's a pendulum swing in design.
Right.
It's a reaction to, real small boxed up rooms and kind of a sense of claustrophobia.
When you think about lofts that came into popularity, maybe early 90s.
Yeah, that, as if most of us live in lofts and we don't, right? But it was a very hip kind of TV image thing of, buying the warehouse loft somewhere and just, one big room with everything kind of located in it, open it all up. We're living in smaller homes in general. And so the idea is make them more open and spacious feeling inside. And DIY television has just grabbed onto this idea with a vengeance, and for years now has just been pushing open. Every client I talk to,
first thing they're like, is, "Well, knock down this wall."
What I'm looking for is something open concept. That was my imitation of Gary.
Right. I knew exactly where you were going with that. No need to explain.
All right. Okay.
No. Gary in his bird shirt. He only sounds that way when he's wearing his bird shirt. No. So it's like the first thing that I get asked about. And I have to go through this whole thing of like, okay, so there are my disclaimers. Dean doesn't hate open concept. I was one of the first designers in LA that I'm aware of that was pushing for the end of the formal dining room for most people and the eat-in kitchen, the live-in kind of eat-in kitchen. So I'm all about opening up space and creating volume. I'm actually famous for adding walls, though, to houses that have been opened up too much. So I'll add a wall, and then I'll put a big opening in the wall, and there are reasons for that. So I'm just a little over the idea that open concept as a blanket idea is just the way to go, because it does more damage than it does good most of the time. Yeah,
explain that.
Well, for instance, most of the time, Gary's house is a really good example of, on the positive side, you live in a spacious home. It's not a big home. It's not the Persian palace, right? It's a spacious home. Every room has enough space, and you've got high ceilings in a lot throughout the house. So, and your house is not technically an open concept house. It's a spacious home. The smaller the house that you live in, the more people are yearning for open concept, because it's like, oh, my house is so small, I want it to feel bigger. The problem is, if you just, on a small house like my house is 20 feet deep and like 65 feet long. That's my house. If I was to just throw open all the walls, you literally can. You can see like my living room wall from my bedroom, and from the front door, I can see all the way across the house. That doesn't make the house bigger.
No, I would imagine
that
it
makes
make
it
seem
smaller.
Yes.
Okay. So the principle here that I want everybody to grab onto is that creating spaciousness isn't about technical distances. It's about pauses and previews of spaces that we're about to enter, and it's about creating pathways to get from one space to a next. And by just throwing open everything so that there's nothing in between you and the next thing and the next thing, you ruin this chance of creating depth with perspective, of having one thing up close and something a little further away and something further even back.
Let's talk about the pauses, the previews, and the pathways. We'll talk about that more when we come back.
And my cool use of alliteration.
Dean Sharp, house whisperer, the alliteration expert, is with us. Gary and Shannon will continue.